Candace Owens is out at the Daily Wire. If you've been following her for the last couple of weeks to months, this is probably not a surprise to you. What probably is a surprise is that how quickly that it happened. So let's go over this particular story, as well as I wanted to go over the potential implications, as well as I wanted to go over what does this mean as a content creator, okay? So you'll see here, Daily Wire parts ways with Candace Owens after publicly falling out with the founder, Ben Shapiro, over disgraceful anti-Israel views. Let's get active. The Daily Wire is parting ways with Candace Owens after the right-wing firebrand spent months attacking Israel in increasingly heated terms and embracing bizarre conspiracy theories. Quote, the Daily Wire and Candace Owens have ended their relationship, co-founder and CEO Jeremy Boring announced on Friday on X. He did not provide any additional information on Owens' termination. Owens reposted Boring's announcement and directed followers to her website and YouTube channel. I thought Ben Shapiro was actually the owner and the CEO. I'm not familiar with this Jeremy Boring fellow.
There's been a weird rift between them over Israel that's been a growing source of discomfort for many of us watching it, where she's gone more and more, it seems to me, pro-Palestine, accusing Israel of a genocide. And everyone knows Ben's history and his connection with Israel and how he's been one of the leading voices to contextualize what Israel is and what has happened to it here and how wrong it is. So it culminated a couple of weeks ago with Ben saying at an event in which he was on cam, I think what she's been saying is disgraceful and that he's kind of over her faux intellectualism. Then she came out and hit him on Tucker's show, and it resulted in this Twitter exchange in which she posted scripture talking about being persecuted and how you can't serve two masters, money and God. Then Ben responded saying, Candace, if you think taking money from the Daily Wire somehow comes between you and God, by all means quit. Then she responded, quote, you've been acting unprofessional and emotionally unhinged for weeks now, and we have all had to sit back and allow it and have tried to exercise exceeding understanding for your raw emotion, but you cross a certain line when you come for scripture and read yourself into it. I will not tolerate it. All very awkward. So I know you've said you're not in a position to fire or hire, and neither's Ben anymore, but that you wouldn't fire Candace. But before we get to your decisions about her, can we just talk about how uncomfortable this is and how have you guys been handling it and feeling about it at the Daily Wire?
So apparently Jeremy Boring is the co-CEO, and now I can understand why the announcement didn't come from Ben Shapiro, realizing the extent of their back and forth that happened in November of 2023.
Yeah, I've been handling it by making a movie in Hungary for the last 6 months, which has been a great way for me personally to handle it. Poor Caleb, who's sole CEO while I'm out of the country, has really had his hands full. Listen, we employ people, give them a platform to give their opinion. We're not always going to agree with the opinions that they give. We empower them to be passionate with those opinions, and sometimes those passions are going to get turned in the wrong direction. And I think that in this particular case, you have two very articulate and passionate people in Ben and Candace, whose conflict of visions on this issue spilled out into the public square, which is going to happen from time to time. I wish it hadn't happened the way that it did, but it's going to happen from time to time. And I think it just is sort of the territory when you decide to start a media company and give people broad freedom to express opinions. Now, obviously, opinions within certain parameters. You know, if, as I said a year ago, if Candace said on the air things that Kanye West was saying a year ago, I would have to step in, or whoever was operating the company at the time would have to step in. But that's not what Candace has done. Candace has expressed opinions that I disagree with, opinions that I maybe even very passionately disagree with in some cases, but that's well within her right as an opinion host at the Daily Wire. And, Ben has the right to be upset about that. Ben, I think Candace is wrong when she says, Ben's been acting unprofessional or whatever. He's emotional. I think everybody's very emotional. I think Candace is very emotional about the issue. That's why this conflict spilled out the way that it did. But, unless it becomes more than that, these are two people who can easily speak for themselves. I don't know that I can add much to the conversation.
The rumors are true. I am finally free, Owens said on X with a link to her website. There will be many announcements in the weeks to come. This is my personal YouTube page that I'll be bringing the show back to after a brief hiatus. She said in a follow-up post asking fans to subscribe. Her independent channel has over 1.4 million subscribers. So people who have come in contact with Candace Owens' page over the past 2 years or so probably knows her from this right here, the Candace Owens podcast, which was created specifically as a channel connected to the Daily Wire. You see here it has 3 million subscribers. But a lot of people don't know that this is where she got her start. On this channel right here, just simply named Candace Owens, you'll see here it has the 1.4 million subscribers. Now, it doesn't look like she's been active on this channel, and that makes sense because most of her work has been uploaded to the Daily Wire, with this page attaining 2.6 million views over the past 30 days, with the Candace Owens podcast attaining, 77 million views over the past 30 days. I also want to do a quick comparison of Ben Shapiro's channel. It has almost 7 million subscribers. Let's take a look at the views over the past 30 days. 157 million. That is so insane. Now, I'm not sure how much of these views come from shorts as opposed to long video uploads, but it just don't matter. That reach is just so crazy. It's ridiculous. And just for the heck of it, I want to compare some of the others that's attached to the Daily Wire brand. Let's take a look at Matt Walsh. Looks like he's only at 20 million subscribers with 20,000 gain over the past 30 days. And for the hell of it, let's check out Matthew Knowles, with his channel earning 55 million views over the past 30 days. View counts is not an accurate estimate as far as the impact of a commentator to a brand, especially when you consider shorts versus long form, but it can give you an estimate to that impact. Owens' commentary on the ongoing Israel-Hamas war and the U.S. support for the Jewish state recently caused public rift between her and the Daily Wire co-founder Ben Shapiro, an Orthodox Jew and a strong supporter of Israel. The two commentators sparred on X last year after Shapiro called her views on Israel disgraceful in a viral clip. We're not going to go over all these comments because we just heard them not too long ago. More recently, though, Owens implied there was a Jewish gang in Hollywood committing crimes and claimed DC Jews were attempting to silence people. She suggested there was a rot in the Jewish community and liked a post on X reviving the age-old anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that Jews drank the blood, holy moly, of Christians. I think that I watched her documentary on Diddy, and she did reference a gang in Hollywood. And I think also she's gone back and forth and sparred with rabbis. So clearly Candace was in her I don't give a shit era. I will not silence my opinions just based off of who owns this network. Ben Shapiro apparently was quiet regarding all of this, or that would have been documented as well. My guess is that Candace has been planning this for a little while now. Like, even if you take a look at her recent podcast, right? Like, why have a conversation with Destiny? Why go on the Fresh and Fit podcast, right? Like, she seems like she's stepping outside of what she has been accustomed to get in front of other audiences. And perhaps this was planned because she knew that the exit was coming soon, or her termination was coming soon. Owens recently argued that Gen Z TikTok users will blame Jews if the Senate passes legislation requiring ByteDance to divest from TikTok because of the company's well-documented ties to the Chinese Communist Party, and previously defended rapper Kanye West when he promised to launch DEFCON 3 against the Jews. Owens' conspiratorial turn has not been limited to Israel. She recently amplified the conspiracy theory claiming Brigitte Macron, the wife of French President Emmanuel Macron, is a man and not the mother of her children from a previous marriage. After looking into this, I would stake my entire professional reputation on the fact that Brigitte Macron is in fact a man, Owens said on X. Spotify charts show Owens' podcast with the Daily Wire was one of the most popular news shows in the U.S. and rivaled Shapiro's popularity. This is exactly why, and Jeremy Boring, the co-CEO of the Daily Wire, actually touched on this a bit when asked, but if you're an opinion commentator and you join a network, your tenure at that network is up for obligation if you are not following the ideologies of those that own that network. It's crazy to me to think that if you have a network that is right-leaning and champions free speech, will go out their way to have a public spat and or battle with someone who does not think the exact same way as you. I understand that it's a very personal issue that is going on. Ben Shapiro taking to the internet to solve an issue with a coworker where you're supposed to be on the same team was in fact an emotionally charged move. Here's the thing though, realizing what Candace has been on about for the past couple of weeks, all these conspiracy theories, she probably would not have stopped. But what Candace Owens has realized here is that by joining a network, your free speech was limited. But here's the thing though, she's built a brand where people will follow. I mean, she's got her website. Let me pull up her website real quick. All right, just went to CandaceOwens.com, join the community, become a member. Oh, it's on locals, which actually makes a lot of sense. I think that even though she has a YouTube channel with 1.4 million subscribers on it, continuing to push conspiracy theories goes against YouTube's policy. So her time up on YouTube may in fact be limited, but on locals, which is attached to Rumble, she'll have infinite time. But I would imagine that her goal is to not get canceled from her YouTube account, since that's where most of the world's long-form video traffic resides. But that's what's going on, and I'll continue to follow the story. I think this particularly interests me because I really don't see a reason to tie yourself to a creator network, at least not right now. But at the same time, would she be as popular as what she is today, right? Like, if you take Candace Owens' perception or her brand or her image prior to the Daily Wire versus now, I would say that she has not even just a larger presence, but her reach in the communities that previously shunned her has grown exponentially. So she was able to use the resources from the Daily Wire to craft this newer image for herself. So it'll be interesting to see what she's going to be able to do with that image when she does it on her own in the weeks to months to come. Anyway, that's been your update for today. Guys, questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. Let's talk through this one, all right? Until next time, YouTube. Peace.